everybody. I am so excited about our sponsor for this month's The Experience Live with Russ and Scott. It's the Gillot Home Team and Laura Gillot. How are you doing, Laura?
I'm doing wonderful.
That is so awesome. You know, the Gillot Home Team is doing so much in real estate. Give us a snapshot of what you're up to.
Awesome. Well, last year we were able to help 551 families either buy or sell real estate. We love our community. We love our clients. Our mission is to deliver the keys to home ownership through stellar customer service, integrity, and joy. And we're looking to help even more folks this year.
That is so awesome. You know, if you want a team that is there for you, is the Gillot Home Team and Laura Gillot. And thanks so much, Laura, for your sponsorship. Good morning, everybody. It's Russ here, all by myself this morning so far. And this is The Experience Live with Russ and Scott. And I'm so excited for this morning. And Scott is out of town on location somewhere in the deep south. So anyway, hopefully he's going to jump in. I thought he was, but if not, we're going to have fun. We're going to just have a great time with our guest, even if it's just me. So I'll just have to be two people today. So anyway, so great to see everybody today. We have Sherri McManus and Sam, the man Feeney, here today to just give us some great information. They're two wonderful people, and I have had the joy of getting to know them both. Also, I've had the joy of being on Sam's podcast, which just released earlier this week. So that it was great, and I really appreciate him. So yeah, I just wanted to let you all know and remind you that this Experience of Life, the show, The Experience Live with Russ and Scott, is every Wednesday morning, 7 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time in the West Coast. Whatever time that is in your time, we want you to join us. Join us live, comment, and interact with the show. We love people that join in. I love it this morning. Rob is already here. What a great guy he is. Man, I appreciate Rob. He is always doing features on people every week and just really highlighting wonderful, outstanding people. So speaking of highlighting wonderful and outstanding people, I'm just going to jump right to it this morning. And, you know, normally we bring them in one at a time, but we're just going to make it a party this morning. We're going to bring them both in this morning. So here comes Sherri. Here comes Sam. They're in the house. How's it going, guys?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, it's great
Morning,
to see you
well.
both. So we're going to start off, Sherri.
Hey.
Let you say a few words to it this morning. Let us know I know all about you, but tell everybody who you are, where you got that big smile, and what you're up to these days.
Sure. Yeah. Thanks so much, man. That's beautiful morning. I love how that we're just, can be anywhere in the world and we all can be connected, which is fabulous. Well, a little bit about me. My name is Sherri McManus and my husband and I are the Lou Everett Group. And I should have wrote that with my name, but I did not. But that's okay. We are actually business and executive leadership coaches and corporate trainers. So we love focusing leadership development and effective communication for small businesses, specifically one to prevent toxic work culture. I, for one, was in the hospital in the ICU due to a toxic work environment due to poor leadership. So we're all about that.
Well, and that is so important because there's a lot of people that are stuck in a toxic environment. And you know me, I'm all about live the life you choose. You should never choose long-term to leave yourself in something that's going to be physically and mentally harmful for you. And that's what I love what you're all about, Sherri. You and your husband do great stuff. And so Sam, tell us a little bit give us a little snapshot about you and all that you're up to.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I am a coach, and I'm actually in the next month launching mastermind groups for entrepreneurs, solopreneurs who are very often finding themselves over focusing on their business and neglecting the other 6 core areas. And so working on a book right now that rolls out the 7 core areas that I think you need to thrive in your life, and starting out coaching and working with guys in particular who are just overemphasizing the things that are easier to overemphasize, like their business metrics and everything else, and missing out on some of the stuff that really matters. And so we're doing a 1-year program at deep dive into those other 6 core areas.
Well, and I think that is so awesome. I think because I was on your podcast, I get to be a little part of that, answering some of your questions. And so I appreciate that. I appreciate all you're about. I know you're part of the Iron Sharpens Iron with Aaron Walker, the mastermind group, and that Scott, the other half of me who's normally here, is part of. Just give us a little snapshot of what that's all about.
Yeah, it's pretty great. And it's something that really grew organically out of Aaron's own experience of being in a mastermind with guys like Dan Miller and Dave Ramsey before they were Dan Miller and Dave Ramsey. And just the idea that what he built out was Iron Sharpens Iron is when like-minded people get together and they encourage each other, push each other when they need to be, each person benefits. And so it's probably technically an international organization. Iron Sharpens Iron, and it's guys who meet regularly via Zoom and then in person twice a year, just trying to make each other better, having eyeballs on certain situations in other people's lives that maybe they can't see, their own blind spots. And so it's been very helpful. I actually started with them and met Scott just this March as I looked to make a pretty major career change. And so I wanted just to make sure I wasn't missing anything. And it got me a lot more than that.
Yeah, I really aspire to be part of that group too, because what you guys are all about, I just totally believe in. And I think that we all are better together. And that's one thing I think, Sherri, that you and your husband are really working on too with your coaching, is making people better. Tell us a little bit more about, what you guys get into.
Yeah, thank you. So what we pretty much what we love to focus on is the, specifically for leadership, right? And we believe that leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. And here's a great classic example, in a work environment, and there is you're the rock star that does all the wonderful things, and then you get promoted to this manager, right? And you have this team, and then they're like, okay, see ya. And then 6 months later, you get fired because you didn't meet your metrics. Well, it's not necessarily their fault. It's just the organization did not equip them properly, right? And they're like, well, I didn't know the skill sets that you have at one level is not going to be the same into the next level. And there's a disconnect there. So we like to fill that in there. It's like, there's different skill sets. And we say that leadership is influence because it all starts with ourselves. And very much what Sam, when he works with solo entrepreneurs and small business owners, and that's what we do as well. Small business owners, could be that one person. Now they're creating a team, but you need to equip them. What you got when you started in the hustle is going to be a different mindset than you are for your next level. And so we need to step back and pull away from those weeds and clear them out so you can get that focus. So that's what we do.
Yeah, and I love that because the whole leadership thing, that's a John Maxwell quote, I think. Leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. And of course, I'm a huge John Maxwell fan. The thing is, it's all about utilizing people's special talents. I was listening to a gal earlier today talking about people's superpowers. And that's really what that is. People have super strengths that they're great at. God has gifted them with these strengths and abilities. And when we utilize and tap into that, everybody is successful. They're successful. The organization is successful. And a lot of times, you're right, people are not equipped. They're just like, here's the employee manual. Here's what we expect. Good luck, go get them. And then when it's all over in 6 months, like you said, it's like, whose fault is that? And a lot of times, people are what drive organizations. People are what drive teams. And what I've always said is, I love the quote, people don't quit their jobs, they quit people. Mm-hmm. And that's what happens, because if it's not working and the leadership is not using that influence for the good, that's where we run into troubles. And Sam, I know you've seen that too, in all that you've done, and especially in your, now that you're in a whole new venture. Give us a little more insight.
Well, I just want to echo what Sherri was saying, because I actually just left a career in education, and very often it was really, really great performers, right, teachers, who then got plucked to go into administration. and it's not the same skill set. And, it's really this, we talk in education a lot about a hidden curriculum, but it's the same thing for the management or the administration of that entity. And so I love what you're doing, Sherri, with that, because that means that people, especially the whole idea of lonely at the top, people at the top can start to connect a little bit with somebody like, help me out beyond what I'm doing. And so that's a lot of what I'm doing as I transition out of education and focusing on coaching is I'm writing a book right now called Why Aren't Men Thriving? And basically because I knew my wife wouldn't let me write a book called Why Aren't Men Thriving? It's just a picture, just a whole book full of guys' pictures. Anyway, but I really found that lack of community, that lack of actual being able to dig into people's lives. A lot of times guys just don't have that. And I think that's the same goes for small business owners, managers, because you're supposed to have all the answers. And you go into somebody who doesn't, and admitting that you don't have the answers, that's a big faith step. And a lot of guys don't feel safe enough to do that. And so that's what I've seen a lot, just my own journey. And so that's why I'm trying to dig into that with this book.
Well, I think what's so important today, it's always been important, but really kind of coming to the forefront is authenticity, vulnerability, and people really showing people who they are, because people that lead others from their own experience and their own life are always more successful. And, a good example of that actually is Laura Gillot, who is here. This is the wonderful sponsor we have, and this is her office I'm at. She has a fabulous team that she's put together here in real estate in Oregon. She's one of the top brokers in the nation out of a little town in Oregon because of her mindset, her vision, and her organization. The team comes together like a family. They care about each other. They're working together. They're all invested in her goals and their goals together. They all have the same purpose and why of what they're doing. And that's why they're so successful. And I think you can take companies like hers and you can actually, say, this is what I aspire to be. This is what I want to look at to be, so I can make myself better. We can learn from each other. Don't you feel like, Sherri, you bring people together and we are so much better together?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And, I have a friend and colleague that she says every time, when the tide rises for all the boats, and it sticks with me. And she's got, and that's a great point. And that's why, we became fast friends, especially over the COVID, and, and you connect with those like-minded individuals. And I'm telling you, it's not lonely at the top. If it's lonely at the top, you're doing something wrong. That's an old mentality that's got to be burned and buried. You know what I mean? And don't get me started on that. So,
well, you're exactly right. Yeah, you're exactly right. Because if they say it's lonely at the top, there is something wrong. And the fact that people can't care about each other and people can't be themselves when they work together is a huge myth. Because who wants to follow? I'm trying to think of the show. It's actually either a live show or a podcast. Now I'm spacing which one it is. I know. It's coming to me. Anyway, people want to follow people that are real. That's basically, his whole tag is people don't follow people that are always right. They follow people who are always real. And that is true. People that are real and authentic, and people aren't saying, they're just blowing smoke. They don't care about me. They care about themselves. That's not going to build a good organization, is it, Sam?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And, and then, I'm probably going to get a trigger for some folks.
No, not at all. And that's actually one of the reasons why in this book I'm writing, I'm just, as you alluded to with the podcast that went out earlier this week, is I'm just interviewing tons of different people in these areas, because what I want to do is crowdsource this information. I'm not an expert on any one thing. And so I want to be able to bring in as many experts as I can. And what's been really fun is to just find out how many people are already doing good work. And just, like you said, share that there is that myth of lonely at the top, but the myth persists for some reason. And so just to, hey, you're doing that too. Oh, that kind of validates me like that. Even if I don't know you, I can see those examples of other people who are doing something cool. And it's inspiring to be able to see that go. And I think one of the problems I have with the going it alone, you know, the myth of this.
Oops,
we and if
froze.
the mission isn't, you all right?
Yeah, well, you froze for just a moment.
Sorry about that. If that's me,
pick it back up.
All right. If I was saying that the problem with not being able to be vulnerable and authentic is that you are putting yourself over the greater good that you're hopefully can be doing or should be doing. And so saying basically like my insecurities or the culture saying that you can't show that you need help, even though when you ask for help, more cool things happen, more good things happen. And having that culture can be something where it says like, hey, everybody needs help. Let's just go ahead out first. Now we can move it forward. We can say, yeah, hey, you're good at this part. I'm good at this part. We all can integrate that. And so if you can build that as a culture, just as your needs, you know, the sooner I ask for help, the faster I go. That's good.
Right. Well, and that's just it. We all need help, and guys are bad at that. Guys are bad at saying, hey, I can't do it. You know, we were raised, at least my generation was raised at be tough. You can do it. You know, you don't need other people. And the truth is we all need help. We all need to work together. We all are really have our vulnerabilities and our weak points. And so if we can work together and get people around us that make us better, that's where the iron sharpens iron, you know, whole idea, which comes right out of the Bible, is a great word for all of us that, you know, we need to work together, sharpen each other in our good points. We need to lift each other, help each other in our weak points. And, you know, a lot of times women are a lot better at that, aren't they, Sherri?
They can be. They certainly can be. But there's also, you know, there's some on a flip side of that too. There's this fear of vulnerability, fear of tearing each other down, fear of judgment, fear of imposter syndrome. So there's a lot of that. And I don't care if you're a man, woman, it doesn't matter. I think all as humans go through imposter syndrome. I think we all go through that insecurity because we want to feel cared for, right? We want to feel that someone has our back. We want to feel the love and confection. We all want to, feel together, right? That's why we find little cliques and like-minded individuals, but we have to be careful in who we put our thoughts in mind and who we're surrounding ourselves with. That's why it's so important to be in a mastermind that you are not the smartest person in your room. And you just have to be on the shoulders of giants. And that's something our mentors has told us. And I didn't get that. I was like, what does that mean? Right? Is that literally on giants? Like, what's going on? And then as I dove into my own personal development, I realized who am I allowing to set into my mindset that's going to either set me forward or set me back. So I love the Jim Rohn quote, you are the average of the 5 people that surround yourself, in a nutshell. That is so we live and breathe that. It's you are the average and you don't realize it. You really don't until you step away and go, oh, my potential is so much better. I'm so in a different plane. Like, why am I here? And there's so much more I can explore. I can help more people if I just open up that door a little bit.
Yeah, and I love that Jim Rohn quote because we are the sum of the people around us. We are the environment we put ourselves in is what we become. And I was huge with that with my kids growing up. I wanted them to be in a good environment because that was what they were going to become. And when you're in a good work environment and not a toxic work environment, you're going to become a much better person, a much better team member, a much better employee, and the company is going to thrive and do much better because of that. Absolutely. And so those that say it's lonely at the top are definitely need a new shift in their mindset and all that they're doing because they're doing it wrong if they, are all think they're out there doing it alone. I think that, one thing that I also always really love is the fact that work environments that are fun. I think a lot of people say, well, we're not here to have fun. We're here to work. Well, I hate to tell you, if you're having no fun, who really wants to work there, right?
Right.
And I think that's so important. Sam, do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. I think it speaks to something larger about the career, just what you're looking for out of a career, and recognizing that there are certain elements to it. There's so much meaning attached to our careers in terms of, like, I think, title and everything else. But I do a deep dive with some of my clients on there's 7 different things that I look for in a career, but only 1 or 2 of them are actually like the real drivers. And they're usually not what I do and how much I make. It's usually something like, can I grow personally in this? Do I like the guy I'm sitting next to? Like, all these different things. But if we don't realize that, we'll jump from lousy job to lousy job, not realizing that it's really us who needs to change. And so I think that's just a reminder for people is you are someone else's rule of 5 person. So, it's not all like, oh, if these people around me would change, I'd be doing better. we do also need to kind of step up our own game sometime if we want to be contributors to those around us. And that can show up a lot in the workplace. Are you somebody who's contributing to that toxic environment? Or are you somebody who is kind of a safe haven for other people? Like, all right, are we allowed to be happy here in this little cohort? Okay, cool. Let's do that.
Yeah, I think that's so true. I think a lot of times we don't realize we may be part of the environment that we're helping to create that. When you find yourself with your coworkers or your friends and you're complaining about your boss or other coworkers, that is a huge red flag right off the bat. Because we all struggle, we all have our challenges, we all have problems, right? And so if we're just busy sitting around complaining about other people's problems, what is that really saying about us? Because that is not helping the environment. And I think a lot of times too, it starts with us because we are an influencer. I am a big believer that everybody is a leader, everybody on the team. You can have people that are leading your organization forward that are maybe at the lowest level in your organization, but because the way they do their job, their attitude, the things that they bring, they are so critical. It reminds me again of the Gillette Home team where I am. They have people that greet people that come to their office first thing. That is a huge important thing for them because they want people to walk into the environment that they're building. They want those people to be a reflection of the company they're building. And I think that's so important. It doesn't matter where you're at. So, well, listen, I can't believe it. Time's already wrapping up. And I love this conversation, but I always have to be the bad guy and start winding things up here. So I'm going to, Sam, first go to you, give you last few words, and how do we get in touch with you?
Sure. Yeah. I'm excited. This is my rule of 5 for the morning. This is why I'm hanging out here is, be intentional about this, about a chance to hang out with people. It doesn't mean you have to fire your friends, but be intentional about hanging out with people at least once a week who are further along the journey than you are. And you can connect with me at madetothrive.coach and actually have an assessment if people want to take it. It's just at amithriving.com. It's just a really quick assessment through the 7 core areas. You get your score and figure out maybe I'm letting 1 or 2 of these areas slip. Maybe I should step that up.
Great. I just really encourage all of you watching, whether you're watching this live or on replay, go to Sam's site, take a look at it, take that assessment and really take to heart where you are so that you can thrive more in your life. And Sherri, you're up.
All righty. Yeah. So, check us out. We love to actually connect with anyone, that are struggling, especially right now, that are in these maybe new roles, that are work from home, and now they have to transition back into the work environment. That's a huge transition. That's a crisis in itself. It really is. So we have to dig deep in ourselves. It all starts with us first, and that's exactly the theme that we're talking about today. And the Lou Everett Group, what we do, we actually help you find that passion, purpose, and why. Let's start there and then build yourself up. So we actually have a free action guide that actually helps identify your passion, purpose, and why. And check it out right on loueverettgroup.com.
That is so great. I am just right in tune with both of you and all that you're about. That's why I appreciate you both so much. I appreciate your positive attitude, your smile, you're just coming on. It just makes it fun for this morning. And all I can say is, there we go. That's what I want to end with there, because I love Kermit. And so, yeah, listen, I figure if you can't have a little fun with life, why live it, right? I am a man of faith, and I believe that God wants us to have fun. I think he wants us to have joy in life. I think he wants us to do the things that we have purpose and drive to do. And we are creating an environment. Not only are we in an environment, but we're helping create an environment that is going to, really form who we are. I had a couple more comments from Rob this morning. Really appreciate him on this morning. And yes, he liked Kermit. So, but I just appreciate both of you. And I want to thank you again. And you are both have become friends. And this is, me, I'm a connection guy. I'm not a one and done. So this is a lifetime friendship. I appreciate you both. And I'll talk to you both soon.
Thanks, Russ.
Yeah, thanks so much,
Sherri.
Russ.
Have a great morning.
You too, Sam. It's a pleasure.
You too.
All right, hang tight for just a second. I'm going to send you the green room. Hey, everybody. So I'm all solo today. Scott is such an amazing, amazing friend and co-host. And it just doesn't seem the same without him on today. But I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best to hold up the fort for both of us today. And, it helped that we had two amazing guests. And I appreciate Sam and Sherri so much. I really, really do. It's interesting this morning because I have really good friends that are married named Sam and Sherri that I was just talking to this morning. And then I thought, hey, now I'm going on the show with Sam and Sherri. Different people, but it's all good. So, I think that today was outstanding. And I just want to remind you, every Wednesday, 7 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, we're here with the Experience Live with Russ and Scott. Normally, I have Scott by my side. It's both of us doing this show, but he is working down in the South today with one of his clients. And obviously probably didn't have the coverage to come on today, but that's all good. He will be with us next time. And if you have any questions, go to russhedge.com. For me, I love to connect with people, and you can go to dscottsmith.com for his website to connect with Scott. And until we see you again, have a great day and a great life. Enjoy the experience. Bye-bye.